Pow! Welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. My name is, of course, Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram. Today our Marvel Legends reviews continue with this Marvel Studios The First 10 Years line of figures. In front of me we have the 2-pack from the AntMan film from way back in 2015. I say way back, it feels like yesterday. We're getting a redo of that original Ant-Man with an unmasked Paul Rudd head, and then we're getting the first time in Marvel Legends form a 6-inch size yellow jacket. We never got yellow jacket the first time round. We had the Ultron Build-A-Figure wave, and very randomly we got one Ant-Man figure which wasn't even accurate to the character design. It had like an open helmet, but this time we're getting a much more accurate look to what we've seen in the first film, with a different Paul Rudd head to what we actually got in the Cull Obsidian Build-A-Figure wave. So it's nice to get two different variants of that. And then we also get these tiny little Ant-Man and yellow jacket figures, which I think we've seen before in that Ant-Man from the Ultron Build-A-Figure wave that I was just talking about. But as always, happy to add new figures to the collection. Redo of that Ant-Man is much needed, and of course I want a yellow jacket, and apparently this figure is really nice as well. So there we are in the box with the Marvel Studios logo. Ant-Man the film. On the side you get that builder collage, which again I'll show you once I buy all 10 of these boxes. Number 8 in the line of figures from the Ant-Man film, I said 2015. There's the bio on both Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket. Pause it, zoom in, all of that good stuff. On the side, you get a write-up about Ant-Man the film. If I had a bigger table, I'd show you, but my table's really small, so I can't show you. So, yeah, Marvel Studios on the top. Let's get this box open. Pow, and there they are out of the packaging, looking very nice, looking like they're pulled from the film themselves. That yellow jacket is very impressive and a welcome addition to the collection. This Ant-Man is a much more movie accurate version as well. And now I've got a closer look at this Paul Rudd head. I'll show you in a minute. That is really nice. These other two little accessories, again, we've seen before. I'll zoom in and show you these in a minute, but they're nothing new and they're not that great, to be fair, but still at least they attempted some type of packing. So let's look at these one at a time. So I'll move Yellow Jacket out of the way and we'll look at Ant-Man first. As I said, he comes with a Paul Rudd head, and this version of Ant-Man is a much more movie accurate version. I'll do a comparison in a second, but yeah, it is a new sculpt as well. It's not just a reuse of the previous figure with a different head. It does look like a new sculpt. There are more textured details, and as I said, that helmet is a much more accurate version. My figure seems a little bit loose out of packaging, which is always frustrating. And it was a bit awkward to get to stand on his own at first, as you can see. So that's always annoying. But he is out of the packaging. Maybe I need to warm him up a little bit. But other than that, it's looking all right. So I'll zoom in. I'll show you the new helmet. I'll put the Paul Rudd head on. And I'll show you those new details on the figure. There's a closer look at the new helmet. It is a new head sculpt that we've not seen before. Again, very accurate to the first film. And it's got all the way to the back with those little pipes coming out. And this figure actually has this textured detail on the chest as well, where the other one was a bit more smooth. So it does seem like a new sculpt for the figure. Maybe the legs ain't a new sculpt, but definitely the top part and the helmet. Now, without doing a full comparison, I'll bring in this Ant-Man as well, and you'll see how this one looks like it was made off some sort of early concept art, because I don't think he did this in the film. Maybe once he opened up the front part of his mask, but it definitely wasn't something we've seen in the film a lot. This new one is definitely much more movie accurate. So yeah, you can see for yourself, if it will stay focused, the difference in mask and which one you think is much more movie accurate. Here is a closer look at the new unmasked head sculpt of Paul Rudd, and to be fair, I reckon it looks better in person than it does on the camera. I'm looking at this now through my tiny little screen, and I don't think it's doing it justice. It's got a little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow, and you can definitely see Paul Rudd in there, but I don't know if the camera is doing it justice. On camera, from a few angles, it definitely looks like Paul Rudd, but it looks better in person, people, I promise you. But it's nice to have a more bland expression Paul Rudd compared to the recent one we got. Even though I do really like this one from the Cull Obsidian wave, it's nice to have that option for your shelf. Do you want a smirky Paul Rudd or a much more stoic Paul Rudd? But still, very happy, always happy to get new head sculpts, especially unmasked head sculpts for these characters. And yeah, welcome addition to the collection. If it will focus, there we go. Here's a quick look at the packing accessories. As I said, these are the tiny little accessories of Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket from the box. Again, these come with their old Ant-Man from 2015, where we got the Ultron head, I think, as a packed-in accessory as well. But yeah, these are tiny, just little, basically chunks of plastic with a bit of paint on them. There's no articulation in there. But again, I do appreciate the attempt, but it would have been nice to get a different one, especially with this Ant-Man. He's basically made so we can sit down on Anthony, because you also got an ant, if I can find it. There you go. So we also got this ant with the old Ant-Man figure. And the reason that Ant-Man is posed sitting down is so you can get him sat on Anthony and have him on your display somewhere. At least I think this is Anthony. There are a lot of ants. I'm not sure he's meant to sit on the back or on the front, but either way, it's sculpted in a way where it can sit on the ant. That is why he can't stand up on his own. It's so you can get him flying on the ant. But that doesn't look too bad, to be fair. If you have that old Ant-Man figure and you've got this ant. So here we have a quick comparison of the 3 MCU versions of Ant-Man that we've got so far. This is the one from the Ultron Build-A-Figure wave from 2015. This is the new one from the Marvel Studios lineup with the 2-pack, of course, that we're reviewing right now. And then this is the one from the Cult Obsidian Build-A-Figure wave from the Ant-Man and the Wasp film. So these two on the end are the much more movie-accurate ones. This was a nice placeholder, but these two are definitely going to replace this guy in the collection. Of course, as well, we have Giant Man, who you can't even see in his full extent there in the background. So I'll pull him back a bit. There you go. So there is Giant Man, of course, from Civil War and Ant-Man and the Wasp. So they are our Ant-Man MCU figures. And if you include that tiny little one as well, I guess they are our MCU Ant-Man figures. So these 3 are definitely going to stay in the collection, but he may find a new home. I also thought it would be worth a mention to say that this pulvered head doesn't fit on the new Ant-Man body. The pegs, the ball pegs things are different sizes. I don't know how well you can see that, but they're different sizes. So you cannot put this newer head onto the Ant-Man and the Wasp figure, and I think you can put this one on there, but it's very wobbly and, as you can see, very loose. But at least that one fits because the peg is bigger. Peg is smaller than the hole on the head. But unfortunately, you can't put this more normal looking head onto the newer body, which is frustrating. Now, that updated Ant-Man was much appreciated, Hasbro, but let's be honest, this is the reason we all bought this 2-pack. An MCU Yellow Jacket. As I said, this was a villain that we missed getting when the film was originally released. So very happy that this Marvel Studios line is filling the gaps with these characters we missed, especially the villains. It would have been really good to get an unmasked Darren Cross head, but this will do for now. I really like his character design. It is very simple, just black and yellow, but it's sort of like a honeycomb type of sculpted detail on all this yellow, and it does stand out very nice. I also like the clear yellow plastic over the eyes, even though you can't see any eyes in there, but it's still a nice touch. This back piece harness does come off. There is sculpted detail there. There's no painted detail underneath the contraption, but it is just a peg, a hole, and then there's a peg on this contraption here, and it pegs in. Now, there is articulation on this contraption. These sort of arms do go down, but only to about there. You can't really push them further down. And then there's articulation to bend them a little bit, so you can get them a bit more straighter by doing that. But there's maybe 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 or 4 points of articulation on these arms, but you can definitely get them spread out like that, sort of Iron Spider style, all the way down. These top pieces are a little bit smaller. They're just like sort of like antennas where this one's a little bit loose, but it's just a case of them swiveling, and then there's a bit of articulation to go in and out, but not much more. So in and out, just one point of articulation there right on the end. But these bottom legs you can do a little bit more with. They can go all the way up, crunch over, or quite far down. As I said, you get the figure yourself and you can pose him any way you want. You get one punched hand and one open palm, sort of clawy hand, I suppose. But yeah, this Ant-Man, I mean this yellow jacket, sorry, is very nice. Let me quickly zoom in and show you some of that sculpt in detail. So as I said, it would have been good to get an unmasked Darren Cross head, because then we could have put that unmasked head on a suited body and it would have been quite accurate to the film. But this will do. As I said, I like the yellow plastic on the helmet, and then there's that honeycomb style texture sculpted onto the body, which is very, very nice. And again, it's just yellow and black. The design, there's no other real colours on there. The yellow does sort of change colour a little bit depending on how much layer of paint's on there, I suppose. But I just wanted to show you those texture details are very nice. And you can see this pack here has articulation there, 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 and yeah, that's about it. 1, 2, 3 points of articulation on each arm by the looks of it. But yeah, yellow jacket, very nice. Now before I put Ant-Man back in the picture, let's just bring in some more villains that this Marvel Studio line has helped us fill out the collection with. So there we have Ronan, and here we have Crossbones, which I really like this figure. He looks quite short and stumpy compared to these, but I do think it's a decent size. And then of course we have Red Skull as well. So if I move these guys down a little bit, we get our own MCU version and the Masters of Evil, I suppose. But yeah, Hail Hydra and all that. But yeah, really happy that this Marvel Studios line is helping us fill out some villains from some of the films that we never got first time around. Thank you very much, Hasbro. Let's keep it going, please. So final thoughts, very happy to have this 2-pack. Much appreciated, Hasbro, for the more movie accurate version of Ant-Man, and a happy addition to the villain shelf on my MCU side of things with Yellow Jacket. I really like the unmasked Paul Rudd head as well, and in the first film he did have a helmet, so you can actually display him holding his helmet and then have your Ant-Man and the Wasp figure displayed wearing his helmet, so you're getting a bit of both worlds. I would put the Angelina Lily unmasked head on a more basic figure for the display, but in the first film she had more of a bob haircut, so it wouldn't really be accurate, but that's if you're being really picky. Either way, really like these figures. Thank you very much, Hasbro. Really like this 10th anniversary line of figures. Keep on coming, please. But as always, people, much appreciated for watching. Make sure you check out that videos tab. Please, please, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell, of course, for all Marvel Legends reviews in the future. And until then, people, I shall see you on the next one.